Yo, people, what's going on? Back again with another footy talk. Louis, what's going on, bro?
Buenos tardes. How are we? We all right?
Yeah, I'm sweet, bruv. I'm sweet. What are you telling me?
I'm not really sure because the past 24 hours have been very confusing. It's like that stage before you get with someone. You know, it's like you're not sure if it is or if it isn't. You're not quite talking to each other. You don't quite understand the communication. It's like Pochettino gives a pre-match press conference that looks like he's a man on the verge of absolutely just decimating himself. And then Chelsea can give a performance like that at one of the most informed home teams in the country. And you can be happy about it, but there's like Twitter accounts that just seem to think they're the Billy Big Bollocks and just love to comment on all my posts thinking they know me.
Yeah.
And he's a twat, so he doesn't have a fucking skill. But, you know, good, doing all right. What about you, mate?
I'm sweet, bruv. I'm all right. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them things. Big up you lot in the chat as well. Man said Matisse called it a one-night stand. I hear that. Bro, it's one of them things where loads of stuff's going on. You get me? Loads of stuff's going on, bruv. It's funny because I'm just chilling, bro. I'm just waiting for this game on the weekend. And yeah, bruv. Big up everyone in the chat, man. The nerds are ruining football, bruv. I just see something in there about the sin bin coming in or something, blue card or something, some nonsense like that. Bro, football's in the gutter, innit? And I keep telling you guys, like, it's only getting worse, bruv. So when people look at me and think that I'm just an old head complaining when I'm actually not, do you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's crazy. Man are talking about sin bins. You got these what they called spasticos, them tactical guys. The guys that know everything about football but know nothing about football, never played football. Do you know what I mean? All these nerds coming out with all of these different stats to try and make them look clever. You know what I mean? And then you've got foolishness like this. It's weird, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very weird situation that we find ourselves in. Talk about sin bins in football and stuff like that, bro. Like Liverpool didn't just win the league, yeah, with water breaks and 5 substitutions and stuff like that. Like, what are these guys doing to the sport, bruv? Even the 5 subs is weird, bro. Like, it's weird.
When, I mean, the five subs I get. 5 subs I get.
You see how? No, I don't get it. Like, they snuck the 5 subs into the game like we wouldn't notice. You know, there people saying, "Oh, 5 subs I get." I don't get the 5 subs. You know why I don't get the 5 subs? Because it's like the beauty of having 3 subs, yeah, is it's like a chess match, innit? You got 3 subs. Don't waste them. 5 subs, that's half the team. You can change half the team, bro. Nah, bro, that's crazy to me. 3 subs means, yo, every substitution matters. This is where the managers earn their stripes. When you got 5 subs, bro, like, bro, you're getting away with murder out there. You can change half your team.
Well, I mean, actually, I was at what was it, a couple of weeks ago. I went to one of those events that John Terry put on. So my friend got it for his birthday and he invited me up. So I thought, you know what, I'll go and have a look. I was intrigued. And he kind of did make a similar point where he was saying, you know, I paid 2, sometimes 3 games a week without an issue. And now we're really struggling with it. So it must be something to do with blame, maybe player aftercare, or, you know, there's stuff going on. Like, I don't know, but I semi-understand the 5 sub rule to protect the players. You know, I get that, but I mean, the sin bin thing, it's the sort of stuff I can imagine in kids football. It's like, you know, you call the referee a dickhead because he's got something. Like, what are you doing that for? Now, you can't say that. Go off there and come back in 5 minutes. You're basically sitting on the naughty step. It's like,
yeah, but that don't make no sense. Obviously, like your team are a man down, are they? Because if they're not, bruv, when I'm tired, I'll just get sin binned. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a sin bin and your team's a man down, then all right, cool. Your team's a man down for 10 minutes. But then at the same time, it really depends, bro. It really depends, bro. And it says if they do something like a cynical foul, but what do you call cynical? Like, what do you call cynical, bro? Like, do you know what I mean? Because if it's like, for instance, a player gets past you and you just tug their shirt or something, you know, you get them little silly yellows and stuff like that. It's like, bro, like if I'm 2-0 up here and someone plays a through ball here and it's like, cool, it's one of them high IQ professional fouls. Then it's just like, all right, cool, I'll take the foul, innit? We'll go down to 10 men. for 10 minutes, bro. We're 2-0 up, bro. Like, I've prevented a bit of danger, bro. Listen, exactly. Players like Rodri, you'll be taking advantage of that if you're a smart footballer. You know what I'm saying?
It's like 10 minutes of just chilling out, isn't it? Sort of like, I'll put my feet up for 10
just
minutes
say,
and I'll come
get
on.
behind the ball. Just say, all right, cool, we'll get behind the ball for 10 minutes. No problem.
Yeah. The problem is, though, with people like that, with Rodri's case, or with most football teams, unfortunately, unlike Rodri and unlike that City team, the IQ of some teams just isn't great. I use Chelsea as an example. I don't think right now our tactical IQ is great on or off the pitch. So it'd be a case of some teams will panic and it will open the game up. I guess it will make it more entertaining. But like you said, I think the big thing there is the IQ. And we've already seen with VAR, which I don't think, right? I'm not against VAR. We've seen it successfully used at the 2018 World Cup, the last World Cup, no issues whatsoever, really. Maybe there was one or two at the 2022 World Cup, but in the 2018 World Cup, there was no issues. It was funny because that was also the tournament that there were no English officials there. And everything seemed to go quite smoothly. Comes to the Premier League, every other week it's, oh, whoops, we got that one wrong. Sorry, guys. It's like, yeah, but you've cost the team points here. It's like, our example, I think I use the Liverpool game, right? I'm not going to say that it would have changed the result because it definitely wouldn't have done. We should have lost that game 8 or 9-0, realistically. You know, Darwin Núñez has got, allergies to fucking goal sometimes. But, overall, like we should have had a penalty when Van Dijk tackles Conor Gallagher. Then, Diogo Jota looks like he just got off a boat in Normandy and looks like he's just been shot for something far less. It's like, and then you get a penalty. Sort of like Liverpool saying, statistically, we've had the most issues. We've lost the most points. Yeah, based on what criteria? Again, everything comes down to nuances and, what someone's concept is of that law. There is no black and white. And I just don't understand it. I think that there's so many issues.
But this is the problem, though. This is the problem. It creates more confusion. The whole point of bringing in certain things was supposed to make things more black and white, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Even the sin bin thing, it comes down to the referee's interpretation. What they decide is a sin bin offense and what isn't. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like the handball thing. Sometimes it's handball, sometimes it's not. Like that Erdegaard one, that I'll never forget that, bro. Man blatantly handballed the ball in the area. I can't even tell you who it was against, but it was such a blatant handball that wasn't given. And it's just like, bro, we've seen lesser handballs given in football. So it's one of them things where the more they do this, it just becomes a soap opera. These men are doing this on purpose, guys. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose so they can fix the game, and also they can make it more entertaining, bruv. Like, do you know what I mean? But is it more entertaining or is it just more corrupt, bro? You know what I mean? Because someone out is making money off this, bro.
The concept is sound. The concept is sound. The execution is wrong.
I don't even think the concept's sound. Even the VAR thing, people are saying that a VAR is good for the game, but it's not, bro. Because at the end of the day, if you wanted to make football more exciting, remove VAR, bro. Football was more exciting when people scored goals and we were like, right, that was tight. We don't know if it was offside or if it wasn't, or if you think the linos made a mistake. It was more entertaining then, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It's less entertaining now.
But at the same time,
you can't even celebrate goals no more. Like, players are scoring goals, looking over at the linesman. The linesman hasn't flagged, but then they're waiting for VAR, and it's just like, bloody hell, this is boring, bro. Like,
no, but there's stuff like that. But it's like there's certain things where I think you draw a line, and I think now there's been far too many rules implemented. I think, let's be honest, me and you had conversations before VAR was about. We've been doing content before then, and there'd be times we'd sit there and go, there should be technology involved. Because football does need to move into the 21st century.
Goal line technology, that's all, bro. Did the ball go across the line, or if it's like a blatant handball or something? If someone's tried to score like a hand of God, like someone was saying, or something dodgy like that, or something that the referee hasn't seen.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. But it's like certain things like that. That's what it should be looking at. But they do. That's what I think. I think the issue is that is what it's used for. But the people using it are useless.
No, but it's used for everything. Every time
I
the
mean,
ball goes in a goal, it's always used for that, like offsides and all these attacks and all these things, bro. It's not necessary
mm,
because then what's the point of having a linesman if VAR overrules the linesman every time? What's the point of the
mm.
linesman? What's the point of them? I mean, they're obsolete then. They're actually obsolete because if the lino don't flag and then VAR says, nah, actually, then what's the point of the linesman? You just paying man to do what?
Look, I think me and you are going to disagree on it. I just think it's down to PGMOL. I just think it's down to how they run. I mean, I've spoken to friends who were going to be referees and they didn't do it because, you know, someone with a lot more money would go and get better referees as their mentors because they'd pay them extra. Because it is rife with corruption. And I'd happily say that on air, and I'd say it on air on any platform, and I would. They could take me to court. I don't care. The fact remains that it is rife with corruption, and there's that you see it every single week. And I'm not talking corruption, whether it's corruption with Premier League teams or whether it's corruption with the league. I don't know, right? All I know is it is rife with corruption, and it's rife with people who just want to look after themselves and look after their mates. It's going to be honest, the PGMOL is basically Rishi Sunak, but for the football. That's what it is. It's literally, you know, Howard Webb is Rishi Sunak. No, the fact is that the quality of when they sit there and they openly say they're trying to defend their mates, or you look at Mike Dean on Soccer Saturday when, you know, when him and Paul Merson went for each other, Paul Merson was like, have you played the game? No, exactly. So you need to have that. There needs to be a balance. And that's never going to happen because the issue is it means it limits the power of the official. No, they don't actually, like, the quality of the game is diminishing. And it's not just because of officiating, it's because of statistics, it's because of, you know, risk, probability. Like, when do you see a winger take someone on now?
You don't.
People get excited. I got excited yesterday when Noni Madueke got the ball one step over and knocked it past someone. I was like, oh my God, he's actually going to try and get it in the box. You know, actually seen, and I'm like, all due respect to Noni Madueke, right? I think he's a cracking player. You know, at the beginning of the season, I wasn't sure. And last season, I'm not too sure. But I'll eat me hat now. You know, he's looking great. But he doesn't hold a candle to some of the players that we've seen over the past 25 years. You know, I think that the football is literally becoming, right? And it was a joke at the time. This joke was made 10 years ago. Do you remember when the 2014 World Cup, you had the animated Nike adverts? And do you remember there was that one where it was like, oh, the robots and all this sort of stuff, and it was just all tapping it side to side. It's literally what it's becoming, because you've got a statistician who the coach listens to, which is fair. I think it has improved the game somewhere, but now I think it's gone too far, where it's like, well, if you put the ball in the mixer straight in the middle of the line, it's got a 3% probability of not going in. So, don't give a fuck, mate. It's like, sorry. I realised Dave's told me off, so I can't swear too much. I'm really sorry, Dave. I realised I've done it twice.
No, I hear you.
It's just robots. It's just so
boring.
Bro,
footballers are becoming the side dish in the game of football, bro. Because they're less important than the managers now. They're less important than the referees. The footballers are just, bro, they're the least important things now in the modern game, because you've got the technology, you've got the stupid stats, and then you've got these managers that want their fingerprints all over everything, bro. Bro, this is the worst. This is the worst it's been, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I struggle to find football matches that I enjoy watching now. Like, I struggle. You know what I mean? Because it's all about, my system versus your system. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, it's not even about the players no more. Like, and I just don't get it. And that's why I find it hard to see players that I actually like watching, and I can actually rate, because most of these guys, bro, there's no difference between a lot of these footballers, bro. It's all like just watching more of the same.
Well, I think it's a case of, you watch the young players come through and they play without fear. I think that's a big reason why. I mean, I'm going to use Mudryk as an example. You know, I think when he was at Shakhtar Donetsk, and even the first couple of games he played for Chelsea, you know, people can say, oh, he's just running past James Milner. But if you look at how he was moving, what he was doing, there was an excitement to his game because he had his tail up. And he's a young player that hadn't been bogged down in systems and all this sort of stuff. And I appreciate maybe his football and IQ isn't the highest. Again, he's a young lad. I hope he gets better. I do think he will. Whether or not that'll be in a Chelsea shirt remains to be seen. But I do think he'll be a good level of player. But, you know, it's just having someone who can take someone on or tries a little skill or does something. It's like, things like that. It's just so sanitized football now. It's like leaving
Yeah,
little
but he
things
can
like
play that brainless football, yeah, in Ukraine, to be honest, because the level's not that high in it. But when
no,
you get
I
up
get
to
that.
a higher level, you need a higher level of skill set to um to be able to play the way he wants to play in it, and he just doesn't have that.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like I get that, but it's kind of a case of like when you saw him playing, and there's a reason why lots of people in Europe watching football liked watching him because I get it that he doesn't have the IQ or the quality maybe to be upper echelon, but
Mm.
he got people excited. He gets people off their seat. You know, it's stuff like that where it's like I love watching. That's why I like Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's extremely skillful with the ball.
He is.
He's the first player at Chelsea since Eden Hazard left that I've actually got up and going, oh wow, fair play.
Yeah, exactly,
Nice
because
little
he's the
skill
first
there.
player you've had, yeah, since that. And that's the thing. There's not many players of that ilk in world football, period. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's down to the systems. It's down to the coaches being more important than the players now. The systems being more important than the players now. Back in the
Yeah.
day, it was cool. The best players get through. That's what used to happen. Now it's the player that fits the system that gets through instead of the best player that gets through. And that's why a lot of the best footballers now, bro, they're not going to make it at the top level. They're not going to make it at the top level because managers are always looking at like, where can you fit in this system, as opposed to, yo, you're good enough to be here. Like, that's just the game right now. So, bro, like, I don't know, man. I'm a bit disillusioned with the sport. And then even the thing that Harry Redknapp said about the coaches as well at the football clubs and with the kids. Did you see it?
No, what do you say?
Hold on, let me see if I can find it now.
I've literally been back to back in meetings all day, mate. I'm a proper businessman now. No,
check that. Hold on,
can you believe me? Can you imagine me being a serious businessman?
Football clubs have never played football or don't play football. They're 24, 25, a lot of them. They don't play. They don't know. They've never been there. They've never been in that position. They've never seen that pass. They've never had the ups and downs of being a young footballer who wants to be a player. They don't play. They're academics. And academics are running the game at the moment at that youth level. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I see them, I watch them, I listen to them, and I'm going, I ask them, why don't you, how old are you? I'm 24. Who do you play? Don't you play? No, I don't play. But they've all learnt the game on computers and studying the game, but they've never probably kicked the ball, isn't it? And it's very difficult when you're dealing with kids and you're trying to help them and you've never actually kicked the ball or played football at any level. It's certainly more and more, you know, it's very difficult.
That's what I mean. These men learning football, yeah, on video games, bruv. And this is why, yeah, this is why the new generation gets me, is because I got loads of experience, yeah, in the game, in terms of being in academies, traveling, playing in different countries, doing all these things. I know what it's like to be injured. I know what it's like to go through the ups and downs. Do you know what I mean? Am I getting a pros? Am I not getting it? Do you know what I mean? Am I getting a new contract? Am I not getting a new contract? All these things, bro. Problems with agents, seeing how dressing rooms are dealt with, all these other things, bro. And then you get these little dickheads, bro, that know everything about all these players because they bought them on Football Manager. And these men think they're football experts, bro. And these are the guys hiding behind avies of footballers, yeah, putting together threads on Twitter and think that they're geniuses, bro. And that's where football's going. And even at football clubs, these men are signing players on stats, bro. Instead of signing players, are actually going to watch players. They don't watch players no more.
No,
that's why you get so many big money signings that flop, because people are not scouting no more. They're just looking at numbers, bro.
That's the problem. They look at the content. There's like, oh, we've got the video content, and you know, football clubs use Football Manager as a statistical thing, as an analysis, because Football Manager actually go and scout the players for you. I appreciate that it might that companies actually, sporting institutes actually made money doing that. So you know, my big thing is like the eye test is so underrated, and I mean, it's fair. It's the geezer on Twitter. I'm sick of it. He does it all the time now. I'm going to fucking call him out as bullshit. SebC_ on Twitter. He's a twat. He always fucking goes after me for no fucking reason. So yesterday, for example, I was there like I said, Pochettino's first interview in the pre-match yesterday. He looked unsettled and everything, and then afterwards I go, fair play. You own your shit. That's how I believe. That's how I move, right? But obviously, he's decided that he never looks into my tweets, because he just goes. He doesn't follow me, but he just loves to go to my tweets because I've come up on his timeline apparently.
Oh yeah, but
listen,
I've got a whole, there's a
mate.
whole religion, that worships trying to get my attention on Twitter. Do you know what I mean?
Mate.
And it never happens. But they don't follow me.
I don't normally bite, but I'm just sick of people like that, and him specifically. It just comes up every couple of weeks. I'm like, here we go again. Well, this guy doesn't know anything about football. Do you know what, mate? I know quite a lot. That's why I work in it. That's why I've worked in it for a decade. And do you know what? When I don't know things, I go and speak to people who do know things. Prime example, when I set up Imperial Wharf, Rants is the first person I spoke to. Because, again, as Rants has said, been through academies, understands things, understands this. You look at that because you need to know that things rather than just the statistical analysis. And if people want football in basics, right, instead of talking about, like I said, the one that I always tell you about that Arsenal game, the two centre-backs or the defensive tandem. You mean the two centre-backs? No, it's just how I talk. No, nobody talks like that.
Nobody talks like that. You're just trying to sound like a lecturer at university. You're trying to sound intelligent, but you're not. Like, nothing's new under the sun. Like, do you know what I'm saying? You man trying to make up different ways to say the same thing, yeah? It's jarring. Like, even this Osimhen example, bro. Like, I sat down and I done a show with Lewis, and I told him Osimhen is trash. All these Chelsea guys were saying, "Oh, we want Osimhen. Why? Because he's got numbers. The guy's a donkey." I said, "You man might as well sign back. What's his name that you had before? The other black guy, bruv, because they're the same build, fam. That you let go to flipping Roma. What's the kid's name?
Oh, Lukaku.
No, to Roma. What before him? Tammy Abraham.
Tammy Abraham, yeah. No, I think
bro,
this thing.
He's just another Tammy Abraham. Osimhen is trash, bruv. And I've been telling, man. And then them man watched him in the AFCON and they're like, hold on, the numbers aren't adding up to the eye test. You know why? Because he's a flat track bully. This guy got nothing about him. And people speak 100 million for Osimhen. Are you crazy? I told man, go get Ivan Toney right now. Forget Ivan Toney's stats, innit? Forget his stats here. You can see with your eyes that outside of Erling Haaland, he's the best striker in the Premier League, and there's no one even close to him. And I would argue that he's better than Erling Haaland. So it's one of them ones where, why would you not go and get Ivan Toney? It makes no sense. But the problem is, people look at the stats and say, yeah, well, he won this, and he did this, and he done that. Yeah, all right, cool. But this is where people's going. He's worth 100 million because of stats.
That's the problem. But then people, I appreciate he's a good player. But when people are saying, look at what he's doing in Italy. Exactly. Italy's not even, in my opinion, in terms of quality, Italy's barely a top 5 league. Italian football is awful. I genuinely think, you look at the Premier League, I reckon West Ham would win the Serie A comfortably as well, by the way. I'm not talking like by a few points, comfortably. West Ham, Brighton, probably even us, to be honest. Even though we're rubbish at the minute, we'd probably win the Serie A. The quality is awful. But people are like, but look at the numbers they're putting out. Exactly. And then look at every sign that's come from the Serie A recently. How have they done? Every single one. Think about it. None of them have actually delivered. None of them have delivered. You know, and it's a case of like people looking at certain players. I think Vlahovic might be one of the very few who might break that mold. But again, it would take him time to get into that position. Would he do it at the top 6 club? No. You could see he'd probably move like a West Ham or something like that.
That's what I think. Like, when people are saying, do I like Vlahovic? I do like him. He's technically very, very good. But I don't think he's a top level player because he don't have the mobility and just I don't know. I think he's not versatile enough, bro. He's the kind of player that if you build a system around him, yeah, he can be a great player in your team. But I don't think he's good enough to build the system around. Do you know what I'm saying? That man saying, let's not do this. Haaland's a monster. Haaland's only a monster inside the box. Do you know what I'm saying? And still, you need to get him the ball inside the box. Ivan Toney gives you something outside the box that Haaland doesn't give you. He also gives you the physicality in terms of how he pins defenders and how he brings his teammates in that Haaland doesn't give you. If you turn around and said Erling's a better finisher, I would agree. But football's not just about finishing. As an all-round player, yeah, Ivan Toney, yeah, is different, bro. He gives you a little bit of everything in it. Erling Haaland's someone who a system needs to be built around. I could bring in Ivan Toney, and I don't need to tell him how to play. I don't need to play to his strengths. If he needs to drop deep, he'll drop deep. If he needs to go long, he'll go long. You saw like the goal the other day that Mopé scored. Yeah, he screened and blocked the defender off. Like, do you know what I mean? He can use his body, he can use his brain, he can use his feet. He can do anything. He can adapt to any system. And that's the thing. Players like Vlahovic, players like Haaland and that, you have to play for them.
This is it. I think like Ivan Toney, and another reason he's like that is because he's had to fight to get back to where he is.
And also he's come through the Football League, so he's had to put himself about. Like, he knows how to rough it out if he needs to rough it out.
Yeah, this is it. And I think like people talk about, oh, we only had 10 outfield goals. I don't care. He scored 20 goals last season. Cool, 10 with penalties.
And also he's playing for a team that are currently fighting relegation, bro.
Thank you. This is it. It's like, but yeah, this is, oh, well, he's not this, he's not that. He's 27. Oh, it's not that. Should I tell you one thing that really annoys me when people talk about English tax, right? There's a reason why English players right now around the world are valued and touted so highly. Because the quality of English footballer right now is far better than most out there. It's, I'd say right now, it's the equivalent of when Spain won the Euros and won the World Cup. Spanish players were obviously more highly rated because of their technical ability and their prowess.
Yeah, they were at the top of the game then. They were.
Exactly. Right now, let's be honest, if England didn't have Southgate, I think we'd have won the Euros here. I really do.
I agree.
I think so. The reason that England aren't winning those major tournaments is because of the manager, not because of the quality of talent. Look at that starting 11. Look at that squad. It's
squad-wise, England should definitely be winning something. There's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it. But there's even England have so many good players, yeah, that there's players that aren't even making the England squad.
Exactly.
That should be making the England squad. So I agree. I believe that, like, literally, if they get the luck of the draw, which they did in the Euros, they got the luck of the draw, and they got the luck of the venue as well, because they were at home for every game bar one, the Hungary game. So with all of that going for England and them still failing to win, Gareth Southgate should have been sacked on the spot. I'll be honest.
This is it. But then, like we said, football's run by academics now, and people who are tame and timid. Personality in this sport doesn't get you anywhere at the top level anymore, really. And if it does, it's only because you've basically bullied your way to the top. You know. Or I think Jurgen Klopp's a good example of that. He is a bit of a bully, but, you know, at the same time, you know what? It's worked for him.
No, bro, sometimes you have to.
This is it, but it's like, I think if you look at Mourinho, you look at Mourinho, maybe even Wenger, I think even Fergie. You look at those sort of managers now, they're just not quite at it. In Mourinho's openly admitted it. He's gone, well, players are different now. But peak players are, you know, and I just feel people my age, you know, most of them are just wusses, all of them. Sit behind a screen and talk shit, but they won't actually say it to your face.
Yeah, well, of course, but listen, but this is but here's the thing, though. The thing is, this is all true. However, you can sit there and you can complain about it, yeah, or you can adapt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I could easily coach the players of today's generation, these young 21, 23, 24-year-olds, I could easily coach them because I understand the era that we're in. I understand that you can't speak to them the way you used to be able to speak to players maybe 10, 15 years ago. I understand all that. And I don't have a problem with that. I think the main problems is that clubs are not controlling what they can control. Do you know what I'm saying? Because players have social media now. So these players' egos are getting inflated way too early. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of footballers like Callum Hudson-Odoi and stuff, for example. I was hearing about this kid when he was 14 years old. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was seeing like videos of him online and stuff. And these guys were hyping him up like he was going to be like the next best thing. And it's like these guys have these followings. The other guy, the Amari guy that you lot signed back from Arsenal, he was another one. I've been seeing videos of this guy since he was flipping 8 years old or something like that. And these guys turn out to be nothing. Do you know what I mean? And when I say nothing, I don't mean nothing because they're still gonna have a career in the game. But I mean,
up here, mate. It's because
of course. Well, of course. But I'm saying that clubs could control that. They could control that by not overpaying these kids. Yeah, that you've got kids that are millionaires and they've never played a first team game. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And when you look at other footballers, these men had to have England caps before they got their first £1 million contract. So it's one of them things where football's gone in a certain way that now you have to understand how to manage these guys. They're not motivated by the same things that the players of yesteryear were motivated by. So now, as a manager, you have to adapt the way that you look at them, the way you treat them, yeah, and the way you see the game, and you have to get the best out of them in a different way, innit? And I think that a lot of people are not adapting, bruv.
But then I get that. I get that, but then I do think that the bubble's got to burst at some point. Like, do you remember we had the conversation? Like we were starting off, said like, right, if you had the first team within 5 years, you'd have like a couple. You'd have like maybe an under 18s and under 16s. Would the under 18s, the under 16s be doing like the old football scholarship style things? I remember saying
they're
that.
not cleaning boots no more. They're not.
That's what it should. They should be. It should be.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you think about how important that was for the players of, to be honest, the last good generation of football.
Yeah, they were the last good generation of football. You're 100% right.
But it's like, I think, again, like the John Terry thing I was at, he was talking about his relationship with Dennis Wise and Gianluca Vialli, right? So obviously Dennis Wise maybe wasn't, everyone looks at him as just some guy who kicked lumps out of people. But for example, John Terry's leadership abilities, he learned a lot from Dennis Wise, you know, saying sort of like
in
how
terms
to
of
motivate people.
Dennis Wise was a good captain for you, but as a footballer, I didn't rate him.
Yeah, but then in terms of learning football skills, understanding the game, different things like that, you had Vialli he was looking after. Those players and that connection between the youth setup and the first team is so important. And it's so disjointed now because they're like, I can watch this here. Why would I do this? Why would I do that? But then that's just life in general. I get you could, like, coaching this generation's more difficult than ever because there's so many outside influences and so many things you can't control. And it's kind of a case of finding people. I don't know, like, I feel mentally, I feel a lot older than a lot of my peers purely. But then, you know, I don't know. Like, I just feel that a lot of people I speak to just don't have the same hunger. They don't want to hit those deliverables. They don't want to do things. It's very much like, we'll take it easy. We'll do this. We'll go home. We'll do that. What we want to do this, but we're too busy on TikTok. We're doing this. We're doing that. Bit of work ethic. I just don't think I sound like a granddad. I really do. But it's like, I do think that a lot of my peers lack a lot of work ethic.
Yeah, but they do.
They don't want to do it themselves.
It's the same with these players. But then this is how you got to know how to talk to these guys. You have to find out what motivates them, innit? And that's just what it is. Everyone's motivated by different stuff. I can get anything out of anyone because I just find out what motivates them. And that's just what it is. And that's why a lot of these coaches can't get the best out of these players, is because they've got money anyway. They've got everything anyway. They're guaranteed a career anyway. Because if you get rid of them, they'll go somewhere else that's going to pay them an obscene amount of money. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them ones where they're not doing it the right way from the very, very, very bottom. And that's just what it is, because a lot of these men, like Rashford, for example, been at the club since 7 years old. He don't know nothing outside of Man United. That's why when he's sulking and he walks around like the world owes him something, it's because he doesn't know any different, bruv. And it's because they've treated him like a superstar since he was a baby, innit? Whereas someone should be sitting him down and saying, listen, mate, respectfully, you ain't that good. You know, like that. So if you don't back up your ideas, you ain't going to be here long. Because there's way more to get out of him than what we're getting out of him. Even his best ever season goals-wise for Man United, bro, I can honestly say I've never seen him play well for 2 or 3 games in a row, bro. Like, even when he's getting stats, he's awful, blood. Who's the person getting him on the training ground, getting him to do extra work? Like, there's loads of videos of CR7, there's loads of videos of Ian Robin, there's loads of videos of David Beckham and all these guys with a bag of Lampard with 100 footballs and that after training. What are these men doing after training? Going Selfridges, blood.
That's what I don't get. Like, that is this. I'm not even talking high level football here. I'm not even talking football. I'm talking life in general, mate. People sort of like they just take it easy now. Like, literally, I'm being like, Wally is going to happen. Fuck, bloody Skynet is going to happen. Like, it's all of that. It's like AI. Like, everyone's getting lazier. Everyone's getting lazier. I've used ChatGPT once when I write a script. I never used it because where's the creativity? I'm literally having arguments with my rental guys right now because I know they're using ChatGPT to send me emails because they can't be arsed to actually speak to me like a human. I'm like, can you do me a favor, mate, by the way? Like, don't put it through ChatGPT. Let's have a conversation, please. People hide. I'm sick of it. If you've got it's like everything in general is just like It's just worse. It's just worse. It just is. And
No, bro, but that's why I'm enjoying watching non-league now. I can't lie. No, I mean, I got a couple. I got a couple boys that played for my futsal team that play for hashtag in it, and I go and watch them. And honestly, them man are more skilled than guys playing in the Premier League. And I'm not even bullshitting you. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the level that them man should be at, really. Like when I go and watch Sak and Camilo, like Sak plays for Somalia, yeah. But bro, honestly, this brother is, bruv, what he's doing, yeah, in that league is a joke, bruv. What he's doing in that league is a joke. I'll be completely honest, bro. And I have to stand there and watch flipping Garnacho play for my team, bro. He ain't got feet like Sak. Nothing like Sak, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, Sak's only 21 as well, but he's roasting that league, bro. And it's his first season in that league because he was playing in the league below for another team. Hashtag scouted him at the end of the season when they got promoted, and he is absolutely cooking that league, bro. And he could easily be playing in the pros, easily. Do you know what I mean? And I'm watching man playing in the Premier League that can't go get past players. Can't take players on.
Do you remember Ed that played for me? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, God,
bro. But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you see, it's like it's the way that some of these players play. It's like, why are you here? Like it was a nightmare, right? Ed left and went and did his stuff, and after Ed's second game for us, my dad went up to him and went, "You shouldn't be playing here." I was like, "What are you doing, Mario? Like, can you stop trying to tell my players not to play for me?" Like,
yeah, but that's the thing, though. But this is exactly the thing, though, bro. I'll be honest, yeah. It's that, bro. Like the reason why these lower league ballers are like this because they're hungry, bro. They've got the hunger to improve, bro, because they're still trying to attain something. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what it is. He's trying to attain something, bro. Like these men are playing, like these men train twice a week, and these men want to get better. They want to get scouted, so they're playing with a different hunger. They're not pulling out of challenges. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not doing all these things that you would expect. Like they're not doing it because these men are playing for something, even though these men are obviously making a decent amount of money for their age and stuff like that. Because, bro, to be honest, if you can be getting a bag a week or something, yeah, playing semi-pro, yeah, at like 20, 21, you're living life, bro. That's money, you know, like that. But the point is, these men are hungry. A lot of these men, yeah, are in higher levels. They're not hungry. They're not as skilled either, and there's zero humility, bro. There's no humility. These men think they're here already, bro. I'm tired of seeing it. Like even the Mudryk thing's crazy to me because it's like you man had to have signed him off stats because you didn't sign him off scouting him. Because even before you signed Mudryk, when Arsenal was linked with him, I watched clips of Mudryk on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, he's got something, but he ain't that good. Do you know what I mean? How you man parted with the amount of money that you parted with? I'm looking at Mudryk and I'm thinking, you know what? He's got something about him. If you can get him for a cheeky 25 million, like, and then you can give him time, fair enough.
But that's the problem. Like Mudryk's, I feel like he's that sort of player. But then I think with the situation Chelsea have, right, what Mudryk needed was a decent winger in front of him, an older person to learn off of. I'm gonna be honest, Raheem Sterling ain't that guy. He's a backup dancer in a big team. Raheem Sterling. He's not someone who leads a team at all. Personally, that's how I feel when I watch him and how he acts. You know, when I watched him against Wolves and I see Enzo Fernandez out sprinting him, I'm like, what you do? You're the winger. You're the outlet. Why aren't you there? But he's wandering around, and it's like you're not the person I'd want a player to learn off of. You know, what Mudryk needed someone, but then the issue was that Chelsea's whole model and what Todd Bowley and Ben Adegbali want, the under 25s is sort of the holy grail of football. There's a really good thread actually. I'll send it to you. You can have a read of it later. I don't agree with all of it. But there's a lot of it where I think it's really important to read. It's on my Twitter actually. Hang on, let me get it. Let me send it in now. But yeah, it's like people look at sort of like that'd be the holy grail of football, and then Chelsea, you're doing their whole amortization contracts and all this sort of stuff, right? The issue with all of this was you're going to put a lot of pressure on people that aren't ready.
Yep. I hear it, but this is what I'm seeing that at my club right now, bro. Like the thing is, it's got to the point where like man will turn around and say, "Oh, but Rants, they're young, they need time." Cool, they can have time, but not at my club. Send them out on loan. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, yeah, when they project on these players, yeah, and they want them to be something that I can see with my 2 eyes that they don't have the capability to be, it's not fair on us and it's not fair on them either.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's not fair on these players. Like, go out, learn your trade. When you're ready, you come back, bro. That's what players used to do. Players like Jesse Lingard and all these other guys. Even you can go back as far as David Beckham going to Preston and that, bro. These guys went out on loan. Do you know what I mean? I see the old video of Jack Grealish at Notts County. You know what I'm saying? Like out on loan at Notts County, like while he was at Villa. Like, bro, this is man used to go out and learn the game, and now you're throwing these guys in at the top level. They're not ready. You're putting them on big money, and then their social media profile's blown up, and you're using these guys as poster boys for the club and the PR and all of that. It's getting to their head, bro, and they're not focusing on their football no more.
This is it.
They're not focusing on their football. Man said, I hope Kobe's not one of them, bro. Kobe Mino is a special talent, and there's not many in football. There's not many special talents here that come out of any academy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like you're doing what we
Kobe's
both hate.
special.
I feel like we're that's just like, as much as it's a joke. What the obviously Luke Littler with the darts had the or the older darts players essentially let him enjoy football. Let him enjoy football. Let him enjoy his darts. Let him enjoy his darts. Kobe Mano, he might be. I've not seen enough of him to say anything yet. But I just put that.
He's ridiculously talented, like to the point where it's like the only thing that would ever stop Kobe Mino, of from reaching the heights he's meant to reach is his own attitude, and he don't have a problem with his attitude. You can see that he's a shy kid that just wants to play football. The only thing that can stop him, is him, innit? And but he's got the right amount of arrogance in terms of he knows his ability, but he's a humble you could tell he was raised well. Do you know what I'm saying? The African family, he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, but then neither was Rashford, neither was another player.
Yeah, but Marcus Rashford's a completely different ball game, bro. Like, bruv, Kobe Mino's family, bro. Listen, he's an African boy, blood. The thing's different there. You know them ones there. The thing is different there. If man's acting up, he's getting slapped. There's no two ways, and it's a different thing, bro. Because I grew up, obviously, I got Caribbean heritage. Yeah, my parents were strict, but bruv, African parents, forget it, bruv. You know, their thing is different. Listen, I had African teachers at school, in primary school, and some of the punishments they used to give us, I was thinking, these men are moving mad creative, blood. They'll have you balancing books on your head in the corner, facing the wall and shit. That's what these men were doing, and getting you to stand on one leg and that. Bruv, the African thing's different, bro. I can't even lie. It's different. They got creative torture, ways of torturing you as a child.
I get that, but
you know, like that.
Back to the football though.
No, but I'm saying Kobe Mino, he will be fine. You know, same with Bukayo Saka, bro. Why do you think he's the way he is, bro?
I get that, but I'm saying it's just a case of let's see. Just let him play his football.
Listen, bro, that's my guy, bro. Like man even got the shirt, bro. Listen, I'll put my whole, I'll put everything on it, bruv. I'll put everything on it that Kobe Mino's him, bro. Everything on it, bro. Don't care, bro. Like, no one's telling me otherwise. He's the guy. I've never bought a player's shirt in my life.
Well, I mean, look. I hope for the sake of his career, because he does look good. He does look good. I hope
he's here.
Well,
he's here, bro.
Just let's see.
He's here, bro. He's here.
Okay.
He's here, bro. You know what I mean? He's here, and he's not a Gallagher. He's not a Mount. He's here, bro.
Listen, Conor Gallagher has his value, and I'll maintain that.
Bro, he's better than all of them. And he's 18 years old.
Yeah, well, I've not seen enough of him. I'm intrigued to see more though. But you know, he looks good. I do think that, you know, that's what we're saying though, in terms of, like, you want to see that player develop. You'd want to see the growth. But whether I think, I don't know. I don't know enough about him saying it, but yeah, like in terms of like this quality, in terms of how, like, if Kobe Mino was at Chelsea right now, we'd be selling him for, like, or trying to sell him for 80 million because it's pure profit.
Maybe, do you know what I'm saying? Maybe.
No, we would be. We'd be trying to sell him because he's pure profit.
Now, to be fair, if he was at Chelsea, he'd be playing, and you lot would be winning more games.
No, he probably would be. Actually, but he might not.
If you put him in the midfield. If you put him in the midfield with Enzo, bro, he'd be cooking. I'll be real. And this is how I know Kobe Mino's a baller. because Kobe Mino can go, and play in any team in the Premier League right now. I don't doubt that. And
But
that's
I
how
don't-
I rate Man United youngsters, bro. Do you know what I mean? The rest of our youngsters, no one wouldn't touch them. They wouldn't touch them, bro.
I don't think Kobe might. If he was at Chelsea, he wouldn't be playing. He probably would be good enough to play, but he won't be playing because we'll sign some random 12-year-old from Venezuela for 80 million quid.
Hey,
and play him.
maybe, but I'll be real, like he walks into that midfield right now. And that's just what it is. And that's the biggest compliment of this guy.
I haven't said enough of him to say anything. So
Absolute baller. Like man said, he's a low-key pet player. Then man tried to get him before like because they thought right, he might not stay at Man United. If not, they're gonna try and get him. Like, bro, he's that kind of player, bro. He's proper. He's proper. And that's one thing. And the thing is with me, I don't back Man United youth prospects. Like you man can look through the years. Mason Greenwood's the only other one that I've ever backed. And he proved it. Do you know what I mean? Other than Pogba. Pogba was a sure thing though. Do you know what I mean? Pogba was a sure thing. Like Greenwood was a sure thing. Do you know what I mean? Mino is a sure thing. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a sure thing. And these things are once in a generation, bro, if you're lucky. The fact that we got Mason and Kobe Mino so close together it's weird.
I don't think you're going to see Mason Greenwood in the United shirt again.
We'll see, innit? The bottom line is there's 4 years between them. Like to get players of that quality within 4 years apart, academy's done good. Do you know what I'm saying? Because before that, Pogba was ages before that. And obviously, even though Lingard was the same class, Lingard nowhere near as good as Paul Pogba. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's one of them ones where when we're looking at our academy and stuff like that, if we get one player out the academy every 4 years, we've done a great job. The way we're trying to force this academy youth thing now is it's just a joke, innit? Because these men are not good enough, bro.
No, I mean, I think you've got to find the right gems in the academy and build a team. But I think the best teams, and I think a best example is, let's talk about the 99 team. So you can't win anything with kids, right? That was a combination of ready-made players, older players to guide the younger ones and the younger players.
We didn't win it because of the kids, though. Do you know what I mean? Like people, that's the thing. That's what people need to understand. Like when Man United brought these kids in, we had a titanium spine, like that. And this is what it is. And this is what people mistake about Man United, because when you look at Man United, and this was pretty much my life supporting the club. So obviously, Class of 92 comes in, United's already got a stupid spine. And then obviously Roy Keane bought Roy Keane. But when you look at the spine of that team, the spine was there. And then those players became the spine. So Gary Neville became the spine. Scholes became the spine. Beckham became the spine. Giggs became the spine. And then they added to that. And that's the reason why, United have had the success, because the spine didn't really change that much, bro. Do you know what I mean? And it was like they learned, they matured whilst having the Roy Keanes next to them and so on and so forth. So that's why your problem at Chelsea now is wash your spine. You don't really have one.
Spine, I think they're looking at building it. If I'm looking at what they're going to be building it as, right? Which I think is a stupid idea because it doesn't have the people around it. It's not, that these guys are FM merchants. They're FM and FIFA merchants. So with this portfolio, he has a potential. Yeah, okay, he's not going to reach that potential because he doesn't have the network and the framework around him. But hey, what do we know? I think if you look at what the spine, it's probably. I think it's whether it's Petrovic or not, we'll have to see. But you've got probably right now Jordi Petrovic. I think they're going to probably try and make Disasia and Badiashile the two centre backs, unless it's Levi Colwill, which it should be. But one of those. And then you're probably going to have, or be Enzo Caicedo, and then they need a centre forward. But
that's it. You're trying to build your spine, with young players that are unproven. That's not how you build a spine. You build a spine with experienced players, and then you put inexperience around the spine to mask the deficiencies and allow for mistakes and allow for losses of form, because young players are notoriously inconsistent, bro.
Yeah, Chelsea haven't had a proper spine, probably since that first Conte season, where I go, that was the spine of that team. Like, I think after that season, we got rid of most of it, and then it's just been bit parts after that. Like, The last proper spine Chelsea had was the Czech, Lampard, Terry, Cole, Drogba, etc. Because there was you built off of that, and obviously we sold the people. I saw someone talk about Roman selling youth players, and I didn't say anything. Yeah, we didn't say anything because those players wouldn't have got into that team. Whereas right now, to be honest, I think most Chelsea academy players would get into our team and should be getting into our team. There's certain players where it's like, I don't think he's a player for the spine, but we mentioned Conor Gallagher earlier. I think, look, if 70, 80 million, which is what was being touted for him, comes in, obviously numbers-wise and stats, right, he's doing pretty well, right? He's first for most things. And I know people can say, oh, you said stats aren't important. No, stats are important, but they're not the whole story. In terms of like everything else, apparently, you talk about the coaches, like you speak to coaches at Chelsea, they talk about how Conor Gallagher in training, because of his energy, obviously sets a standard for other players to try and keep up and do that. He's not the most technically gifted, no, but his energy, it sets the standard for other players to be like, this amount of work you need to put in. Obviously on the pitch, it's a similar situation. And obviously, we talk about, energy, obviously not being everything. It's not because that's what most modern footballers are, unfortunately. He sets an example there, but he's not someone who I think would be a starter for Chelsea if we had the better players. I think he'd be one of those players when you come into the squad, he's one of the ones who welcomes you and goes, right, this is what it means to play here, because he has an understanding of the DNA. This is what Chelsea is. This is what we're built up with. That's what came through all those youth players. That's what Mason Mount had when he was in the first team. That's what Tian Livramento's got. Whether you look at, even you look at the players who don't play for Chelsea, who should be playing for Chelsea, who should be in that squad, but are now elsewhere doing really well. Livramento, Mark Gahey, Jeremy Boga, Nathan Ake, Andreas Christensen, all these players which have gone on.
About Ake.
Ake's a Chelsea youth product. I saw Ake play in a Youth Cup final. Even Trevor Chalobah, Nathaniel Chalobah, who obviously didn't do as well as career because of injuries, whatever, he still sets an example, whatever club he goes to, for work rate. Wherever he went, he was someone who, even if he maybe wasn't someone he's a senior figure, but he doesn't play as much, wherever he is, you hear him, people talk about how important he is for those teams because of the mentality, because of the strength, because of everything that's instilled in that academy. But, is what it is. Miguel, I'm trying to back up your point. Right, stop being an idiot. Right, behave yourself.
Yeah, but they were sold under Roman, and the thing is, but this is the thing, and this is why having the right infrastructure.
Tamori, Lewis Hall.
Yeah, Tamori. Your guy Lampard got rid of him, innit? But you know what the mad thing is, yeah? It's like that's what I mean about the infrastructure, bro. Because with Roman wanted to spend the money and buy ready-made players, of course. Do you know what I mean? And he sold these younger players. I get it, but there needs to be a mixture. When you've got good players, you need to bring them through, and that was the thing. Like right now, I think that Chelsea's biggest issue is the recruitment is too far the other way now. Now you're bringing in these players in terms of data and potential, but you're not bringing players in that are doing anything right now. Like the only player potentially that you could say you did that with Sterling, and I think that was a very bad signing because I don't think he's very good, and he's not the kind of player also that the new generation are going to learn off. He's not that kind of leader, bruv. He's not that kind of player. He's not an example. Do you know what I mean? And for over 300 grand a week, he's meant to be carrying that attack, and he's not.
But this is why, for example, when I was obviously we laughed at it in the summer, or you laughed at it. That's why I was saying you sign players like we talked about. But then I was looking at a team. The biggest issue Chelsea have is we were supposed to have the best in class, right? In terms of these sporting directors, they're not, right? Paul Winstanley, they were talking about him. He should have been following Chris Hughton out the door apparently at Brighton, and he lost his job. I've spoken to people who have worked with Paul Winstanley, not at Brighton, but other clubs, and they've all got. How has he got that? Like, what? How has he got? Look, Stewart, he apparently hit with the sales. Fair play. This summer, got rid of a lot of the dead wood. Is what it is, right? But the pair of them together have failed bringing players for good prices, or failed to sort of organise a team. And you think they're football people, right? So why are they so focused on simply signing youth prospects? We turned down James Maddison because he was too old. I appreciate maybe he's a very injury-prone player, but he's a player who leads a team. He does. He's got a good energy about him, right? He's probably someone I'd have gone for. But then it's like, I'm looking at that team going, do you know what? Even we talk about maybe Nathaniel Chalobah maybe not being such a key part in the squad he's in now, but being a leader and someone that can help the team and help the younger players. I'm looking at James Ward-Prowse. Like, why do we not maybe go for that in the summer? Because he's a leader. He understands the Premier League. He's got a set piece in him. So if you got like trying to break down a low block in the 80th minute,
as a role player, 100%. Why not? Why not bring him in?
Exactly. But you sign players like that. But when we're going to go and spend £60 million on Romeo Lavia, who's played 23 minutes of football, appreciate he might be a quality young player, looks really good, but really, like 60 million? Are you sure? Oh, we'll amortize the fee over the next 2,500 years. It'll be worth £5 a year. And I go, whatever, mate. Like you've absolutely ruined it, right? And the fact that like the amortization, as I said to you in the summer, it's really funny. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. It works if the player are going to hit the ceilings and do better. It doesn't work when the structure is not in place. So they've gone, we're going to pay off this contract over 9 years. But if Chelsea are playing poorly because the structure's not in place and the team can't flourish because it doesn't have everything that it needs and the medical staff are awful, so we're not going to even see those key players that we might need, guess what? It's not going to work because all these players are going to leave midway through their contracts and we won't be able to shift them because they've got 8 years left on the deal or 5 years left, however many years left on the deal. And no one's going to pay the price that we want because we've messed up big time.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it.
It's like
I get it.
The whole thing's like, and with that as well, you've got the manager ID thing. Look,
where are you with your manager anyway? Like, are you at the point where, like, I know a lot of Chelsea fans are like, "Yo, bring Mourinho back to the end of the season." Where are you with the manager? Because the weird thing about football, is, and this is why I feel like teams need to be brave in it, because whenever a manager's under pressure, at a big club, because of the players they've got, and because you can just get the luck of you can get the rub of the green at times. It almost seems like every time a big manager's under pressure, they get a decent run of games, they get out of it, and then everything's all right, and then people forget about it, like they brush it under the carpet, and then we're back here again. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them ones. Do you think that Poch deserves more time, or do you think it's just a matter of time?
It's a tough one. I try not to be as emotive as I used to be, and I'm trying to look through it for the facts. From an emotional perspective, I don't think his mentality's right. I do think that there are certain things I question when he talked about, I think the Middlesbrough game's a big example. We lost that first leg 1-0, and I get from a footballing aspect, there's a second leg. It's like, all right, we've still got another leg, lads. It's like, you just lost to a team which is mid-table in the Championship and they're not even doing well there. Like, come on, the level of quality we have in that team's better. This shouldn't be happening and you should be saying that. But then this goes back to what we're saying about the mentality of the modern player. How are they going to react to that? He's got to manage that. So that's one. Okay, how do you handle that? I think tactically, he's shown a lack of flexibility in situations which could have been dealt with better. I think that realistically, this season, I think Chelsea have had a team which is more akin to a 5 at the back. For example, he was worried about height. Okay, well, let's centre backs, let's play wing backs. I understand you have a system you want to implement, but the amount of injuries that Chelsea have had, I think I saw a stat the other week. Chelsea had 200. Well, this as of last week, Chelsea had 274 injuries in 250 odd weeks. Right, that's across multiple managers. That's not just the manager's fault. That's the medical staff that needs to be looked at, right? Because clearly they aren't doing their job. So, he's in that situation when he said, we had injuries, which mean haven't been able to play our system. Okay, well, if you haven't been able to play your system, you need to, like you were talking about earlier, older managers need to adapt. In those situations, you need to adapt. We're playing a 3 at the back in pre-season. We were looking really good. Why aren't we doing it now? What's the situation? How's this work? So, instead of doing that and maybe playing in Maatsen as a left wing back, we are playing Lever Colwill out of position in left back, making us easily targetable down that side rather than adapting to the situation. So emotionally, I didn't think he was there. Tactically, I think he was inflexible. He's dealing with the cards he's been dealt, but then he also makes important points, such as Chelsea have. That's a good comment. I like that.
This comment's killed me, bro.
He talks about how Chelsea aren't the club they used to be, and that we're not. We ain't. I think people need to remember that with what Roman Abramovich is saying. It's not that club anymore. We are very fortunate to have an owner like Roman Abramovich who wanted to win. However, in fairness, there were things that needed adapting and changing. Chelsea needed tweaking, didn't need an overhaul. But we've had the overhaul now. It's been there, it's done. We aren't the club we were. They've got a new mentality, which is why he said what he said yesterday, which is Chelsea aren't the Chelsea they were 20 years ago. These are the own players who are trying to their own journey and carve out their own piece of Chelsea history. So, there's a lot of issues there. But then again, like I said, Pochettino also isn't completely, as I touched on there, the sporting directors completely stupid. Actually, the ownership, like I said to you,
I'm gonna run the Twitter link that you sent me as well because I've only skimmed it, but bro, it looks great. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but yes, like I said, the 18 months. I said this to you 18 months ago. Focus on getting the first bit right. They haven't done that. We've gone and bought another club in Strasbourg, where Strasbourg are facing the issue of this whole multi-club model. Need help in certain things. I think, for example, they were close to signing Davinson Sanchez, and they didn't do it. So, they've now got younger players, which means they're not doing as well as it could be because they need to sort certain things out. So, there's lots of moving parts here, which means Pochettino isn't completely to blame.
Yeah, 100%. Like this thing here, from Rob Draper. Yeah, obviously, I've always said I don't think it's all the manager, and I think that the setup's got a lot to do with it. But like, when he's saying I'm not trying to be a Poch advocate or whatever. He said maybe he's not quite as good as we think. Can accept all that, but here's a list of things that are definitely not his fault. And then he says squad mix. Chelsea can consistently field the youngest starting 11 in the Premier League, which is what I said. It's a problem. Consistently signing, these are young, unproven players, and also the amount of money you spent with them. Like I said, what's your spine? When United brought in a class of 92, we had a spine. And like you say, in Fergie, you're never winning anything, but kids team had Schmeichel, Pallister, Irwin, Cantona, McClare, bruv, in their 30s. Your only player in their 30s, his legs are gone, bro, and it's your Brazilian centre back that can only play in a free now, probably. So I said that this is a problem, and there you go. That's just an example, bro.
This is it. It's like there's so many things with it where there's so many moving parts, and I really, really strongly advocate you guys read this thread. That's why when I talk about football, I like to talk about football now. I'm not someone who likes to lose their shit very often. And if I
facts. He's saying they've been blinded by the lure of youth, seeing it as football's holy grail. This is reductive assessment one might make if you're a massively overconfident private equity billionaire with a superhero complex. And you know what the crazy thing about that situation is as well? Yeah, it's like these guys are not cheap either, bro. And also with sports science and stuff like that, players are playing longer in their careers. Everyone's always thinking about resale value, which is flipping annoying, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because when people are saying nonsense, like, for instance, all these Chelsea players that you're signing right now for all this money and you're talking about resale value. How is there resale value, on Mudryk, bro? Because you've spent him, you bought him, he's not playing well. It doesn't matter how old he is. You're not going to get your money back on him.
That's what they're based it on. Oh, it's a risk. It's an £85 million risk that they've taken there. Like,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth exactly. It's like they're going, oh, we don't want to spend 100 million on Ivan Toney because for an extra 30 million you can get 6 more years out of Victor Osimhen. Yeah, but Chelsea don't need that right now. Chelsea need a guarantee, and because this is the other thing, right? I'm not sure if Rob touched on this. I can't remember, but the methodology of the ownership and the targets they're trying to set are completely illogical, right? So they're talking about how this is a project that the young players develop. They've got time on their side. They've got this. They've got that, right? But then they're turning around and going, but we still expect top 4 this season. How does that work? It doesn't make sense. Like there is no logic to it. So, the overall situation, it just shows that we've got the blind leading the blind in this situation. Lawrence Stewart and Paul and Stanley coming from Brighton and are bringing a Brighton mentality to a larger club. I appreciate what they did at Brighton is probably fantastic, right? But then you also need to shift mentally. You need to remember that, look, Chelsea over the past, 20 years are the most successful team in England. Period. Full stop. End of. No.
Yeah, but also when you look at a Brighton, yeah, they still brought in players like Danny Welbeck, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? That are experienced.
That's after these two have gone.
Okay. Well, there
So-
you go. Well, maybe that's where they missed the trick, because teams like Brighton, as much as you're bringing in these Caicedos and these Matomas and all that, you need Welbecks. You need those kind of players. The players that been there, done it, understand the league. You know you're going to get a certain level of consistency from them. Do you know what I mean? You need those players in every single team. Do you know what I mean? Also, your Lalanas and your Milners and that. Like, you need these kind of players. Like, letting go of Jorginho, letting go of Mount, Kovacic, Rudiger, all those players, and not replacing them with experienced players, bruv. Like, do you know what I mean? You saw the difference Jorginho made, yeah, for Arsenal the other day against Liverpool. Like, you lot could have done with a player of that quality or a player of that experience, even if it wasn't him himself.
With like Rudiger and Christensen, for example, they didn't sign contracts because of the sanctions, because they didn't know what was going on, and their heads were turned by Barcelona and Real Madrid. You know, I'm not going to turn around and go, oh my god, can't believe they didn't wait to sign a contract. Is what it is in that situation. I'm going, okay, that was something we're taking a hit on. That's fine. I think Mason Mount, in hindsight, look again, 70 million quid pure profit. I'm not saying no. I don't think he'd be getting into our team right now. I don't. And you know how highly I rated him. So I don't think he'd be getting into our team. So that just makes sense. Kovacic again was another one where it's like he didn't want to sign another contract, so we moved him on. But it's the mentality is like that's why I'm saying, like, okay, he maybe wouldn't have started, but James Ward-Prowse comes in, have him on the bench as an option, maybe play in those bigger games. In those games where you need something, but let me rephrase. Yeah, and come on, do something, help those younger players. Ivan Toney, guaranteed starter. Pedro Neto fits their bill of being under 25, but has Premier League experience.
He's relatively Premier League experience. Pedro Neto is not a gamble. Like what man says here, yeah, signing lots of 19-year-olds, assuming 7 out of 10 of them are going to become stars, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's like assuming, bro, based off what? Based off stats. This is what I mean. Stop signing players, yeah, off stats, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I can see if a player's got a future in the game, yeah, with my eyes. I don't care about numbers, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about numbers. The same way you brought in Mudryk, yeah. It's like if you spend that money on Jack Grealish instead, yeah. Don't you think you would have got more out of it?
Probably, yeah. But then Jack Grealish, I think, is like, again, he's another one of those players where I think he would have maybe brought more. But then I think any player that signs for Chelsea right now, I wouldn't touch it. But then this is another thing with Pochettino, right? We want to get rid of him, right? Let's just say Chelsea wants to get rid of him, right? One, because we spent all this money in an awful way, we're in trouble with FFP if we got rid of him. That's a problem, and how the club's been run. And it's going to be somewhere they're going to have to learn it the hard way, right? Secondly, if you are a manager of a good caliber, and this is why I'm saying simply getting rid of the manager is not going to solve the problem, right? If you're the manager of a good caliber, you do not touch Chelsea right now. You do not touch it, because Pochettino, as an example, in January, I want a left back, I want a striker, I want a centre mid, and I need some serious experience in this side, right? Because you're supposed to have more impact on the transfers. Bowley and Igbali, and when Stanley and Stewart, or Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and Dumb and Dumber, both all went, okay, no, because it doesn't fit this model of what we're trying to create, and da-da-da-da-da-da. So,
but the model's not working.
Exactly. So the football man is going, even if he might not have, as I've said, I think he's tactically inflexible, and I think mentally he's maybe not as strong as I'd like him to be, right? He's gone, what do you want me to do then? I'll just still go and do what you're doing. Okay, well, what's going on here? They're saying that everything's going to be reviewed at the end of the season. The first people out the door need to be the two sporting directors. It need to be the two sporting directors. Put it this way, if Paul Mitchell came in the summer, I'd give Poch another season, purely because of the track record the pair of them have together. At Southampton and at Tottenham, they both had a very, very good track record. So, Poch has got a 2-year deal. So I think it's a 2-year deal. Someone correct me if I've got that wrong, please. But he's got a 2-year deal, which means that I'd be like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Give it another year, or give it another 6 months. If he doesn't come in, Pochettino, the sporting directors need to go. Barley and Igbali need to realise that they are being stupid. They need to realise it, because this complex where they're like, we want to be more collaborative. If you want to be more collaborative, you need to listen. 2 ears, 1 mouth. The amount of times I say this to people now, it's ironic that I'm telling people to shut up. It's ironic, isn't it?
No, I hear it.
2 ears, 1 mouth. You don't understand it. Again, Ryan Abramovich, time, but there's still tangibles and variables can sort of marry up to it. He didn't understand the game that well, so he got Peter Kenyon, who understood football inside and out.
He got people, exactly. He nicked Peter Kenyon, and this is the problem. The fact I said it, when Todd Bowie came in, and the first thing he said was, "All right, cool, I'm gonna do this DOF thing for a little bit because I'll do it myself." I was like, you men are fucked. That's because I was just like, bro, like the first thing you go and do is you go and get the best in class, bro. This is what our new owners are doing. Our new owners gone to Man City and poached Barada the same way Roman came to Man United and poached Peter Kenyon, because that's what you do. United have been successful for all these years. I've just come in at Chelsea, so I'm going to go to Man United and take their guy, bruv, because it makes sense. We're going to Man City and take their guy. Todd Bowie comes in and says, "Nah, I'm going to do it myself, bruv. 10-year contracts."
Me and you both said that. We both went, what? It's just like,
as soon as he said he's doing it himself, I was like, yeah, okay. Do you know what I'm saying? And now here we are.
Every other person on Twitter, everyone on Twitter. Right? This is why I get tired of people questioning my football knowledge, because I'm not going to lie, I'm smarter than most of the people on Twitter, and I don't mean to say that without too much, but I know my stuff, as does Rants, right? If this is me, right, and I'm Todd Bowley, I'm biting the bullet in the summer, and I'm going, right, I've messed up here. Michael Edwards, I know you don't want to be maybe as in touch with club football as much. I know you don't want to be sort of a person who's just heading up a process, but please, here is a blank piece of paper. Can you fix the mess that I've made and go find me the right person? Yeah. I think we had a pretty good person for Vivell, but then when my alarm bells were ringing in the summer, I think we had a stream the day he left. When Vivell went, I'm going to go on gardening leave until December because this ain't working, and he left when Stanley and Stewart in charge. I sat there and I went, "Ooh, okay, this isn't good. The actual person who was a sporting director doesn't want to be here." Right? Okay, what's the issue? It says a lot. It says a lot about the situation. So we'll have to see. But for me, I'm sort of going, look, go and get the best in class. No, look, Paul and Stanley might be a fantastic scout, which is what he was at Brighton. Let him do a scouting. Lawrence Stewart, I don't even know what he was, but figure something out. Because if you can't get rid of him, you've got to do it. But you need to get the people who actually know what they're doing. And this multi-club model, just focus on getting the football clubs right. Just get them.
But that's it. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. But this is why I'm happy the way our guys are doing it. And like now, this talk about a new stadium and all these other, bro, they're doing the right things. And the beauty of it is, they're bringing in people to do it. They're not doing it themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? I know, that Ratcliffe ain't got nothing to do with this. Nothing at all. Do you know what I mean? The Barada thing, Barada's coming. Obviously, they would have identified him because Ratcliffe said that he spoke to Khaldoon at Man City because they've got mutual interest in business outside of football. But Brailsford is the one that's going around and identifying people. Like we got the head physio guy got kicked out. I know that's Brailsford because he does the 1% marginal gains performance stuff, and he's probably looked at the physio department and all these guys said, "Nah, we need better physios." Now they've looked at the training ground. We need better training grounds because again, he done the British cycling thing when Bradley Wiggins and do you remember the Olympics when Wiggins was just pissing on everyone in the cycling and that's all him. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's one of them ones where I think they won 3 or 4 Tour de France's or something stupid like that, like out of 5. And it's all him, bro. And it's all about little marginal. It's about the little 1% and stuff like that. So that means the training ground needs to be better. Stadium needs to be better. Better physios. We need better players. We need better recruitment. That's all him. You know, like that. And that's what it is, because you go and you get the best. That's exactly what we're doing at the club right now. We're not saying, oh, well, like, cool, I'll just fill in and do it myself while we decide who we're gonna get, which is what your guy done.
This is it. This is why when they're talking about their portfolios and future developments and all that sort of stuff, that's great. But right now, you're doing what you're doing. City are doing what they're doing. Newcastle are doing what they're doing. Villa are doing what they're doing, because that's going under the radar, because they got Monchi as their head of football, which is not a bad appointment at all.
Yeah, it's
right?
proper.
All these teams are doing everything now, which means that they can then have the groundwork to then think about the future. But we've done it the other way around, which means that we are going to be in the wilderness for a long time. We are now, and I'm now at peace with that. But it's just a case of, I just want to see steps being made in the right direction. And look, we've got to a cup final this year. That's great. We're into the 5th round of the cup. Like, I'm still on a high from last night because I'm so shocked at that result. I was genuinely in shock. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was. Was you more was you more shocked about the result or the performance?
Both. But I'm sort of looking at this going, this the second time this has happened this season, or third. I look at the Arsenal game, I look at the City game, I look at that game. Right? Chelsea have been up and down all year. All I ask now, like I said to you at the beginning of the season, like I said to you when Potter went, like I said to you when Potter arrived, just give me a consistent level of improvement. That's all that matters to me. Learn from mistakes and improve. Learn and improve. Learn and improve. Learn and improve. And then the culture of what Chelsea is will kick in, because that's what they bought it for. That's what they wanted. They wanted to make money and they wanted to win trophies. If you want to do that, you've got to make that the correct investments, and we haven't done that yet. So let's just see what happens. Let's figure it out. That Villa side are a good side. They put out a strong 11. We played well. We played very well. We showed quality. So as long as we continue to show that quality and continue to do better, that's all I ask. That's all I ask right now, because I can't ask for anything else.
I hear it. Before we wrap, what are you making of Enzo? Because I see loads of people getting onto him. I think he's a very good player. Yeah, that's being let down. That's being let down by just inconsistency all around him. You know what I mean? And also being misprofiled as a footballer. And obviously the free kick was mustard. It shows you he's not a number 6. Like, it's obvious he's not a number 6 in it. And he's a player. He's not a 6.
10. He's not number 10.
No, he's an 8.
See, I don't know, because I think when he, if you look at the beginning of the season, and that, I think the important thing yesterday was, instead of playing them miles apart and stretching them, we played Enzo and Caicedo close together. So it was simple stuff they did well. They picked up the ball, they moved it. They picked up the ball, they moved it. I think Enzo is more box to box, but then I also feel that he is so much better deeper. Like, the missed profile is when we've been playing him further up the pitch, almost like a second striker as a number 10, because I don't think he is that. So I wouldn't say he's quite a box.
But an 8, but an 8 isn't. An 8 is not necessarily like, bro, there's different types of 8s. Like, for instance, look at Ødegaard. Yeah, people think Ødegaard's a 10. He's not a 10. He's an 8. And the thing is, yeah, like, 8s have the license to receive the ball deep, like Luka Modric, and also have the license to go up the other end. Do you see what I'm saying? Luka Modric picks up the ball off the centre backs a lot. That doesn't mean he's a 6. So when people think of 8, they're thinking of, it's not box to box like Kante, but no, but he's a more technical 8 that wants to get on the ball, and he should have the license to drop deep and pick up the ball if he wants to pick it up, and get forward if he wants to get forward, or when he wants to get forward. So he needs players. He needs a player beside him, and he needs a player in front of him. And the problem is, when you play him as the higher up player, you waste his passing ability. And when you play him too deep, you waste other qualities. And this is the same problem we had with Paul Pogba. People were playing pivot, like Pogba's not 6. But then people were saying, play him at 8. But like, who's getting the ball to him? Because he's the best passer in the team as well. Do you know what I mean? So
Caicedo, well, he's definitely proven his passing ability over the past week. You know, and yesterday I thought defensively he was pretty sound. I think if I was to show Enzo a player, which I'd like him to be, I'd argue, I'd say maybe Lampard in his later years. So almost like that not the Lampard just as he was retiring, but like that Lampard probably just post the double winners, maybe like 2012, 13, 14. Like that's what I'm looking at. Where you're looking at someone.
I think he's better on the ball than Lampard, bro. I think he could. I think he can do the Verratti thing. I think he can. He's not as tenacious as Verratti, but I think he can. I think he's got.
I think about Verratti.
Verratti's a bad boy, though. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think he's got the tenacity of Verratti, but I think he's got the footwork and he's got the passing ability. He could definitely play that 8 role, man. Like Lampard couldn't run though in his late, but he couldn't run when he was young, let alone when he was older.
Didn't, but he made up for it, didn't he? Those late runs. I think that's what Enzo's not the quickest, but he's got the mobility, a bit more of the mobility. But yeah, I think he's got that. Yeah, I'd say he's that sort of player. That's what I'd want him to be. I think this is the problem. I think because this recruitment's made no sense. The players we have, we're still learning who they are.
Yeah,
they're still learning who they are. So
100.
It's a case of we need to understand what he wants to be. I think if yesterday's a template, then that's what we need to build around. Sort of allow him to say, look, what were you doing yesterday? All right, cool. That's what you're doing for the rest of the season. That's what it should be.
See, Poch used him Verratti as a 10. Well, there you go, innit? And they're similar players to me. So Poch is deciding to use him as a 10 because he probably wants that tenacity of the press and that aggression. But nah, bro, like they're not 10s though. Like I get it, but no, innit? Like it's like Poch, no.
Like if you with the team we have now, right, availability wise, and maybe for the future as well, you're probably going to see. I'd say probably Caicedo on his own, and then Gallagher and Enzo.
Yeah.
Failing that, obviously with the options we have on the wing, I thought Cole Palmer was great down the middle. So
yeah,
you
he's
might
unreal.
be Enzo and Caicedo. Then you have Palmer in the 10. Then you probably right now, okay, I'd probably go what's probably going to be Mudryk and Madueke, and then up front there's an Ivan Toney shaped hole.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, having said that, Nicholas Jackson off the left yesterday was fantastic, and I have not given him enough credit over the past 24 hours.
That's what he should play. That's what he should play.
Yeah, I think I've not given enough credit this season. I do stand by, in terms of Chelsea top goal scorer, he's the worst player I've ever seen.
Oh, 100%. But bro, come on, man. Like McTominay is one of our top scorers, and he's one of the worst players I've ever seen. Like football's different now, innit? But Jackson's ball retention, yeah, or from the left-hand side, because that's what these wide players are supposed to be doing now, retaining possession and all of that. Like he can play there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I look at him. I mean, someone's described it to me earlier, and I can't unsee it. He feels like what Kalou was. I feel like he'll be our Kalou. You know, his son Kalou is a striker. We're going to have him. So, you know, he's this generation's Kalou. Although, you know, we'll see how it goes.
I can see that. So, yeah, man. Big up everyone. Make sure you subscribe to Louis' channel. You already know what it is. And make sure you smash that like here. You got anything you want to plug before we wrap up, bro?
Yeah. So obviously the YouTube channel has been a bit quiet, but that's because I've been working on some other bits and we're trying to get it working. So we have the fastest growing Chelsea podcast in the world in the Chelsea Echo, which is available on all good audio platforms. We're hopefully moving it across the video quite soon. But yeah, we're working with some fantastic people. As I said in the past, working with the guys that created the blueprint. So we're going to be talking to players. We're going to be talking to a lot of people, and we're kind of the middle ground between fans and journalists. So we're working with journalists, but we're also working with fans, and we're trying to create a really nice product, which is logical, talks about the football, but still has fun with it. Think the bastard love child of the Peter Crouch podcast and an actual football podcast, and then kind of like, you know, David Brent it, you know, synergize it. So we've got that. If you want to trim, drop me a DM, seriously. So I'm looking for new clients because I'm back doing that again. And yeah, content will be coming soon. But yeah, honestly, please do check out the Chelsea Echo. We also do live rooms after every single Chelsea game, where we do call-in shows. So if people want to come and get involved on Twitter, it's in the Twitter Spaces after every game. Please give us a follow. Check us out there. And yeah, just, you know, follow me on my social. Really appreciate it.
Big up, people. Do you know what I mean? So smash up the like. Make sure you subscribe to Louis' channel on YouTube, and I'll catch you guys in a bit.